Hey, I finally watched the end of Oak Street, the new dinosaur movie that came out in theaters, and now that I finally got to it, I'm doing my review of it because this was a really fun movie. So, if you guys aren't too familiar with this movie, you guys didn't see the trailers. This is a new dinosaur sci-fi film that has just released, and it's mainly about a family who's in a very nice neighborhood. It is set in the 1980s. It starts off very sweet and nice, family hanging out. It eventually gets to the point where their world, their neighborhood, gets sent back to a prehistoric world, and they're basically having to survive this prehistoric world and having to deal with all these dinosaurs and other animals. And along the way, there's a lot of shocks and thrills that comes along with this movie. With that said, this movie was absolutely fun. I absolutely loved it. I was excited for this movie when I watched the trailers, and it was exactly my expectations. In fact, a little bit more than I expected from this movie. For the gist of this does absolutely great job at getting you drawn to the characters. The family's very fun. I loved Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor's char- characters. Ewan McGregor did a fantastic job. Anne Hathaway did a fantastic job, and the kids in this movie, the children, they did a wonderful job playing their roles. So they all have connection and help you. Basically understand the story better and help you enjoy actually seeing them on the screen, and when they're surviving, you see the family dynamic and stuff. That was pretty fun. But you also get to understand the emotional struggles that they're going through. Family, the mom and dad are basically struggling with the sense of, fighting with a lot, and the children believe there's a divorce going on, and there's a lot of emotional struggles going on as these big events are happening in their world. They're having to make decisions that are very hard for humans to make. And I know it does a lot of these decisions in the movie, like the survival decisions. First of all, seem very stupid, and I do see that. But that's something I actually enjoyed, and that's something I don't see a lot in the Jurassic World movies, where the characters are trying to survive events that they have no idea how to, and they just have an insane amount of plot armor. But in this movie, it was just a family from the 1980s trying to do what they could, while still being in a stressful, having a stressful mindset, and basically just trying to gather whatever tools they had in their house to survive and try to warn the other neighbors and do stuff along the way. And it made the movie feel very fun, made it feel very different, and it was really cool seeing dinosaurs roam a neighborhood. Like, that's fun. That's like horror at its best, like just dinosaurs eerily roaming the neighborhood. I loved seeing a lot of the scenes with the dinosaurs like sneaking up and causing destruction. It even scared me at sometimes too. Scared me more than a lot of the recent Jurassic World movies have, and that's just great. It did a lot of unique stuff. The dinosaur designs are some are a little bit of a bummer, like the Stegosaurus or Ankylosaurus design. I wasn't a huge fan of, but I think the Allosaurus was absolutely fine. I loved the Allosaurus. I love that they did that as the main antagonist instead of the always doing the T Rex. The Spinosaurus was pretty cool. Spinosaurus is always awesome, and we gotta see it. Although I do wish they showed the dinosaurs a little bit more on screen. I feel like that would kind of not let you see as much as the family. And yeah, like I said, I think the family is something that really made this movie feel more attached, because all this was a dinosaur movie, it wouldn't really be as big of a story as it was without the main characters and the whole neighborhood to it. So you had the Ciliophysis, which was it was an okay design. It looked like Ciliophysis. It was a little too big, but it was awesome. You had these weird turtle things. I have no idea what they are, but it was so cool seeing them. Like, I don't know. I think they're fine. They're not too ugly to me. I thought they were pretty fine designs. Like I said, the dinosaur designs are really great. We even got the absolutely feathered sauropod, a woolly sauropod, which in real life would be very unrealistic. But it's such a unique design choice, and that alone makes the movie such a great dinosaur film with how they uniquely portray the dinosaur designs. They're not making them too ugly, but they're also like doing something very different with them, and that alone just makes it really fun. Now, this is a little bit more spoiler territory, so I do warn you, if you haven't seen the movie, please go check it out before you listen to the rest of my review. So, starting off with about some of these spoilers of this movie, I did not realize how much shocks and thrills this movie was going to have. I knew it was going to have it was going to be a dinosaur movie. I knew there was going to be a little bit of dinosaur action. I did not expect there to be as much like edge of the seat just thrills for this movie. Like I was actually the suspense and shock I had was very surprising. A lot of things happen. Like characters, like for instance, Ewan McGregor's character does die. And it's weird seeing a main character die because I'm not used to seeing that in dinosaur movies, but they weren't afraid to do a lot of scary stuff. Like this is a PG-13 movie, but there was some gory scenes that I was surprised that they did. Like they weren't afraid to show characters get eaten, and especially Ewan McGregor's character, and show the emotion that happened after that. And it's very sad, but it was also I don't want to say it's fun. It was it was a shock, and it made the movie interesting to sit down and watch, intriguing to sit down and see like all the suspense and just everything that's going on, and a lot of it is like going on at once, but it fits this movie because it's a survival movie. So like all these events happening is catastrophic, and it makes it feel fun. Also, I do want to mention I do really love the pterosaur design in this movie. I think it looks great. Obviously oversized, but just absolutely amazing. And to that point, there's a scene where like the youngest, the son in the family, he's like, or the whole family really. You know, they find a little girl. She's like she lost her family, and she was in the movie earlier on. But what's very interesting about this scene specifically is like they're on top of the roof. Ewan McGregor's character is gone. The dad's already gone, and you know they're trying to get back. The portal opens up, and oh well, let me explain the portals real quick. So basically, these wormholes or whatever are opening up around the world. It doesn't fully explain it in the movie, and if it explained it more, I feel like it would have been more fun. But here's the thing: I feel like if it also explains these wormholes more, it would have taken a lot of what made this movie very fun and interesting when it comes to the dinosaurs and the characters. So I'm kind of glad it didn't get too much into it, and it's kind of just a mystery overall. So that's what made it fun. But overall, the wormholes were opening up. They saw a flash of light, and so because of that, they went to the area. They went on top of the roof. They tried jumping into the wormhole, and they were trying to time it. And so the son, he tries jumping in to the wormhole, and he misses. You think he's going to make it, and that's like the movie's filled with so much like shocks, you don't even realize it. And he starts getting absolutely obliterated by this pterosaur, and then the dog who was gone the whole movie comes back just to save him. And you know, there's a lot of things that happens. You know, I think the kids were fun. Well, the kids were a fun. Like seeing the adults survive was fun. I think it was a lot funnier. It just interesting to see the kids like try to survive. Because there were moments where they'd be like by themselves. You just have to think about how a kid would solve the issue, and it was cool seeing that. And then there was the snake scene where I don't know if this is a spoiler because I don't think we had any images of it yet. But yeah, there's a giant snake in this movie that's almost like it is Titanoboa basically. So it wasn't just specifically Mesozoic animals, but yeah, no, Titanoboa, this huge snake. Um, it's a white coloration too. It's very cool looking. It sneaks into the house, and it's not like it's trying to kill them. Well, it's trying to eat the mom, but like it's just trying to find prey. It's not like it's trying to kill everyone in the house. It's just basically trying to find prey. And the boy shoots it with arrows, and it's like a whole scene where it's trying to break down the door, and then it just gets stabbed and crawls out the window. But yeah, this movie has so much like just so much fun scenes, and yeah, it was really fun watching this film. And everything that this film had in store. I'm sure there's more to think about it, but in the gist, I think this is really all I can say for the film. I think it was a great film. Just was such a fun experience to watch. Yeah, with all that said, overall, that was kind of my review of the movie, my at the end of Oak Street, and yeah, it was fun. If I could sum up what I've said, it was fun. It was very adventurous, very shock, very at the edge of your seat film. You know, there's lots of shocks, there's lots of thrills. Absolutely fun, just sci-fi adventure, and of course, an amazing dinosaur film with amazing dinosaur scenes. I was absolutely stunned by all the dinosaur scenes. Some of the designs are a little bit of a bummer, but overall, like as a dinosaur fan, I was not too disappointed with how the dinosaurs were portrayed in this movie. I think they were portrayed pretty well. I think all the prehistoric creatures were really fun. The characters were absolutely awesome. I really like how the movie ended. It ended off with a great, when they went back through the wormholes, they basically, they went back to the time before all this happened. So basically, the dad's back. They're all back to being a family, and they're able to warn the other citizens of the neighborhood of the dangers, and they wrote a book about it, and they were on the news, and the government got involved and tried to take down the dinosaurs and stop everything. So it had a very happy ending, and it also leaves a lot of room for possibly another movie like this. But yeah, I'm really happy that we're getting more dinosaur films like this, and a lot just absolutely fun dinosaur experience. It was an amazing experience. It was watching this movie. So yeah, if you guys love dinosaur movies, you should definitely give this a try. Or if you guys just love sci-fi adventure thrills, then yeah, this is definitely a movie packed with all sorts of sci-fi action. So yeah, I suggest giving this movie a try. Really great film. I recommend. And I will see you guys in another video. And if you guys love paleontology and dinosaur content, please don't mind liking and subscribing.